Before I start the Raw review for the post-Survivor Series episode, just want to say huge thank you to everyone who made my Survivor Series 2020 review go as crazy as it did. That video is nearly at 7k views in one day, which is just unbelievable for my channel. So yeah, huge thank you to everyone who made that possible. It's awesome to see the wrestling community really galvanize and rally around The Undertaker, showing gratitude for someone who, in many people's eyes, is the greatest of all time. So yeah, huge thank you to you guys for that. As for Raw tonight, I'd say the show was actually, I wouldn't say it was like a great Raw by any means, because if you consider what we got tonight a great Raw, then I mean your standards are incredibly low. But as far as what they gave us, like on paper, it was like a good show. Now, obviously, when you're watching this over the course of a 3-hour time span, you get bored due to how commercials and how WWE structure these shows. So I did get bored throughout. It wasn't like I was loving this show for 3 hours, but I think how they structured the show with a lot of matches that are actually a bit interesting. So what they did, essentially, Team Raw in the men's Team Raw, the one who swept Team SmackDown last night at the Survivor Series, that team, so Braun Strowman, Sheamus, AJ Styles, Riddle, and Keith Lee, that team came out to the ring to open the show. Adam Pearce, the guy who's like the WWE Raw and SmackDown GM or something, he comes out, and they're doing this whole segment. Basically, Strowman like attacks the dude, and then Pearce announces that there's going to be 3 singles matches to determine. Well, the winner of each singles match is going to compete in a triple threat match next week. And the winner of that match faces Drew McIntyre at TLC. So basically, on tonight's episode of Raw, we got Sheamus versus Riddle, we got Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley, and we got AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. 3 pretty damn interesting matches, especially Lee and Lashley, because we haven't seen that match before. That one was really captivating. Styles and Orton is a clash of 2 guys who have pretty damn respectable names in the business. Sheamus and Riddle, I mean, I think we've seen that a couple times already, but the match was pretty good nevertheless. So that was like the qualification to face McIntyre thing. And then with that considered, I look at the rest of the show, and we had Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross, a match which, I mean, Alexa Bliss is involved, so people just, as a result, care, me included. Because Alexa Bliss was involved, I cared about this. Given the work Alexa Bliss is doing, this whole Bliss and the Fiend thing, it's just brilliant work. We've got another Firefly Funhouse segment tonight, which, these Funhouse segments, I mean, earlier in the year, they were interesting. I've always enjoyed watching the Funhouse. I mean, at times, through like May, June, July, when Wyatt was feuding with Strowman, the Funhouse got a bit dull in my opinion, but now, with Alexa Bliss involved and how they're doing it, it's really good. The Funhouse stuff was good. And then Bliss vs. Cross, I thought was like great. I really enjoyed watching that. So, yeah, that. And then, on top of all of this, you had, well, 2 title matches. You had a Raw Tag Team title match, the New Day defending against the Hurt Business, and you had this, the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka and Lana. Well, we were supposed to have this. It ended up being a tag team match with Asuka and Lana versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. But you get my point. This show, like, on paper, was really good. And I think if this show was like 2 hours long and they maybe cut down the length of the matches, cut commercials, or something like that, it would have been like a really good Raw. But because it's a 3-hour show, because it's WWE and they're just kind of long matches and most matches are fairly similar, the show ended up just being surfaceable. I'd say it was a surfaceable to good Raw. It wasn't utter trash. It wasn't utter garbage. If you're saying it's garbage, I mean, fair enough. It's your opinion. I'm not going to try and change it. But personally, I thought it was a serviceable show. So, yeah, that's the general crux and rundown. I'll try and run down the rest of the show in like 4 minutes. So I talked about the opening segment. Basically, just Team Raw in the ring with Adam Pearce. Nothing I really need to elaborate on from there. You guys don't even bother going out and watching the opening segment. The opening segment is not worth watching. It just wasn't. So, yeah, that was that. Then we had the New Day versus the Hurt Business Raw Tag Team titles. So going into this match, I was thinking to myself, okay, the New Day don't have much momentum. They lost at Survivor Series. The Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, MVP is the manager, Lashley's US champion. This is their time. It'd be awesome for the Hurt Business to win the tag team championships here. Wrestling Twitter, everyone I was seeing talking about this was saying that the Hurt Business should win the tag team titles. So, what did WWE do? Have the New Day retain, because it's the New Day. So, yeah, New Day wins. Lol. I guess the Hurt Business aren't winning the tag titles, which is a bit disappointing. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, they'd make fun tag team champions. I think just give them the titles. I mean, the Hurt Business has been doing such great work for months and months now. The New Day are just the New Day. Like, they're just constants in the company. I want to see the Hurt Business win the titles, though. So, yeah, that was a good tag title match to follow up that mediocre opening segment. So that was that. Then the Riddle vs. Sheamus match. Riddle vs. Sheamus, it was a good match. Like, this match, I found it hard to really get into because these two guys, Riddle and Sheamus, just personally, I don't really connect to either of them. Like, if Sheamus was in a storyline with Drew McIntyre, like I wanted them to do, but he's not because he lost this match. But if Sheamus was in a storyline with McIntyre, you know, as they were like, it seemed like they're building towards, if they actually went in that direction, I'd be like really interested in Sheamus. But Sheamus, like by himself, he's just bland in my opinion. Sheamus is just, he's there. That's Sheamus. Riddle, he lost his first name and now he's a guy who says bro. Okay. So you have these two guys, they have a really good physical match. The match got good time, entertaining back and forth. In the end, Riddle gets the win. So I guess it was decent. The match was good. It wasn't a bad match. If you didn't see the match, I guess go out and watch the highlights on YouTube. But yeah, Riddle beats Sheamus. So Riddle qualifies for next week's Triple Threat number 1 contenders WWE title match. Then we got the Firefly Funhouse segment. I find these are hard to describe. Like, they really are. Basically, Bray Wyatt was mentioning Randy Orton and making like references to it. We had a Nikki Cross mention, and then this friendship frog got squashed. So that was basically the crux of the Funhouse. But yeah, these segments are just really good. So go and check the Funhouse segment out if you didn't already. Then the whole Asuka, Lana, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax thing. I'm tempted to just skip it because I really don't care. Basically, Lana got granted a women's title match versus Asuka because Lana, she was the sole survivor last night because she didn't do anything, and then now she gets a match tonight for the title. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax come down before the match. We get some amazing promo work from Nia Jax, yelling about how unfair this is and how Lana did nothing, how Lana's a joke, and then they did a tag team match. Asuka ended up getting the pinfall victory on Baszler. So yeah, moving on. Then Keith Lee, Bobby Lashley. This match was pretty damn good, I felt like. I mean, it's Lee and Lashley. These two I had going out at 1-1 at my WrestleMania 37 card, so I was always going to be invested. I think how they booked it was a bit weird. They have, basically, Lashley gets back into the ring. So Lee and Lashley are outside the ring. Lashley gets back into the ring. Keith Lee is there. The referee's distracted. MVP, like, pushes Lee. Lee goes flying headfirst in the ring post. Keith Lee's all dazed. Gets back into the ring. Lashley puts him in his, like, I forget what it's called, but that, like, Lashley lock, pretty much. He's in this submission. And then, next thing you know, MVP just causes a DQ. So, Keith Lee beats Bobby Lashley by DQ. Okay, whatever. So, that was that. Then, we got Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross. Bliss vs. Cross, I thought this was really good. The storytelling was excellent. Before the match, Nikki Cross said that she's going to beat the Fiend out of Alexa Bliss, which really helped the storyline. The actual ring work, because, I mean, Alexa Bliss, like, her attire, it's just, the whole thing works really well. So Alexa Bliss, she's, like, prancing around at ringside. Nikki Cross is, like, chasing her, getting all concerned, get into the ring. Alexa Bliss gets a few near falls on Cross. Match was worked really well. So, yeah, in the end, we have Alexa Bliss getting the win over Nikki Cross, as you'd expect. After the match, we have Alexa Bliss smiling. She walks up the ramp. Nikki Cross is in defeat. So that was good. Then we got an Undertaker video package. Once again, awesome stuff. And then the main event, Randy Orton, AJ Styles. Good little match. These two guys had much better matches, namely WrestleMania 35. But for the Raw TV main event we got, I liked it. I think having the Fiend get involved was really good. I like how the Fiend made his presence known. The Fiend effects came on the screen, the Titantron on the screen. The Fiend showed up like at ringside. Then the Fiend was standing on the ring apron to distract Randy Orton. Styles hit a phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. So next week, the WWE Championship number 1 contenders match will be Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and AJ Styles. Styles should win that match, I feel like. But if Keith Lee won, I'd be down for that as well. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.